see, what'll land do for you? Well, every Poland and none of it I can do. Maybe 12, 13, and it was very unusual in these days, and it was on the radio. And once I started listening to it, I started listening to electric blues, and I wondered where it came from. And after that, then I heard older blues music from the 1920s, and I started buying the records. And that's when I really got into it. And it sounded so different from everything else that I'd heard, and it was the power and the beauty in some of that music. I wanted to learn to play it, but that took a long time.
When did you start to be interested in music?
I've always listened to music. I mean, in my early years we had a radio in the house. It was a radio, we didn't have a television. And my parents bought records, but they bought the records that were the hits of the day. And I quite liked some of them, but it was the stuff I heard on the radio, because I used to, when I went to bed, I would sneak the late night radio programs on, and the really good stuff was on the late night programs. That was what I listened to, and British bands had started to play. Well, I wouldn't call it blues, but they played blues-based music. I started listening to that, and then I heard the real stuff. So it was the radio really that got me interested in music. I would say 7 or 8 I was listening to music, definitely, probably younger.
And do you have a special musical education?
I've never had a music lesson in my life, and I'm now tutoring music. I now know all about scales, but I taught myself. I taught myself all the tunings and everything else as I went along, because I was just, really, what I was doing was hunting that sound that these people made. Hunting that sound. So I'd started tuning the guitar differently, because I worked out that they didn't just tune the guitar the normal way. Then I started reading about it and found out what they did, yeah.
Do you have some different hobbies?
Oh yeah, lots. I still play five-a-side football, I run, I am involved in regeneration in Arbroath, where I was the head teacher at a school at the other side of town, and there's a few issues up there, so I'm involved in that a great deal. I've started playing competitive table tennis again, although I'm bloody hopeless now. I was good, right? I stopped for 30 years, and yeah, and I'm tutoring guitar 4 nights a week, so I'm probably as busy as I ever was.
How many hours do you spend singing?
Less than I spend playing the guitar, but I play the guitar a lot. I love playing the guitar. And the mandolin, I play the mandolin as well. And something called the dobro, but I didn't bring the dobro here. I thought 2 instruments is enough. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's it. I'll spend, if I've got free time, I'm playing the guitar. Daytime television, oh, you know, no chance.
Do you have your own CDs?
Yeah, well, I've just finally, I've played with a mate of mine. We've played in a blues band for 25 years, and now we've recorded an album of our own stuff, and it's just gone on a program called CD Baby, and that's it, and it's called Last of the Buffalo, because the title song is about the Great Plains, and when the Comanche were wiped out, it was because the buffalo were wiped out. It's a tale of white capitalist expansion, I'm afraid, with other people suffering. So, yeah, so we've just got a CD out, that's it.
Have you ever been to different countries to sing blues?
I've never played blues abroad. I've played quite a bit in England and all over Scotland. We used to play every weekend, because I was semi-professional. We used to play from the Thurso in the north. That was a great gig. I was on the edge of a cliff, and it was a howling gale, a 300-foot drop to the sea, right down to the borders, Edinburgh, Glasgow, all over Scotland, and quite a few times in England. The furthest south we were was on a boat in the Severn. We played in a boat in the River Severn, and we were playing the music and looking out the windows, and there was cows, you know, grazing in the fields as we went past playing the blues, kind of. So yeah, I've played all over Britain, but not abroad, no.
Do you write your own songs? If yes, then how many?
Yes, yeah, I do, because it's like I said at the start of that, you cannot be Robert Johnson or Booker White or Son House or any of the great bluesmen. You can learn from them and you can pick up on what they did, but the copyists don't sound the same. You can go on YouTube now and you can listen to guys who can play their songs note for note, but these guys don't have anything of their own, you know? So you're always better writing your own music. It doesn't make you money, but you're better doing it that way, definitely. It's much more satisfying, that's it. So yeah, I write quite a bit, because I'm interested in it.
What was the reason to start playing guitar?
That's difficult. I suppose it's because of two things. One, it's the best release from any pressure or tension that you will ever get. You start playing the guitar, everything else vanishes out of the world. You're playing the guitar. And secondly, because I wanted to, because these people that I heard just were astonishing. So I thought, I'm going to have a go at this, because I can't love the music that much and not try to play some of it. So two reasons. It's right enough, you see, if you play the guitar, you actually, even if you're playing the saddest song in the world, the blues, you get rid of the blues, you know? And secondly, what I'd heard, I wanted to play that stuff badly.
Do you have a favorite artist? Who is it?
I've got quite a few favourite artists, and they're not just blues artists. I love Robert Johnson as a guitar player. I think he is an amazing guitar player. I love Charlie Patton. I love Charlie Patton's voice, but the recordings are minced. The recordings are very poor, but I think he's got a great voice. I love, as a songwriter, I love Townes Van Zandt, who has nothing to do with blues. He's a left field country singer who died young, but to me, he put poetry into music. Wonderful, wonderful songwriter. But it's the people I like tend to be rebels in their own field. You know what I mean? They tend to be not in the middle of, I don't like, there's not a mainstream pop artist that I can say I really like. I can admire their craft, but the music has to have something deeper than that for me. Has to be about more than just, I'm going to make a record to make cash. I love Neil Young, who's an American songwriter. But I like people that kind of go against the grain, that don't just do what the record companies tell them to do. Can I put it that way? Yeah.
What are your plans for the future?
First important rule, stay alive. Stay alive. And we're involved a lot up at, we're trying to buy Seaton Park from Angus Council. We want to put a big community and sports hub there. That's taken up a lot of my time at the moment. I want to do that. I want to keep playing music, and I want to keep going on holiday and do everything that I've always done, I suppose. But for that, you need your health, you know? You need your health. So that's it, yeah. I want to continue to keep rolling along and have a good time.
And what do you do in your free time, if you have it?
Well, I'm tutoring guitar 4 nights a week now. I do a lot of the stuff up in Arbroath during the day. I'm also involved with I'm running the food bank now in Arbroath at the Olden Abbey Church. Not that I'm a member of the church, by the way, but that came about through the parents group. And I've got loads of sporting activities too. When I get free time, I like to read. I like to read. I read a lot of history. I was a history graduate, and I worked as a head teacher for 25 years, and all you read was bump from the Education Authority. You'll know all about that. So when I retired, chuck that stuff away, read what you want to read. And I've now read piles of stuff on The history of America always interested me. Germany, German history, medieval German history, which I hadn't done for 30 years. French, the Cathars, that's a great story, but it was a horrific story. And the blues, I still read a lot of history books about the blues. And when I get time, I listen to the music still. Listening to the music is still very, very important.
Where can we listen your music?
Well, as I say, it's on CD Baby. And it's, I can't even, I mean, I'm hopeless on these things. I don't care if I sell one record or 20, to be honest. The key thing is to go and make the record. But it's on CD Baby. It's The Vigilantes, because we're a couple of cowboys, and it's Last of the Buffalo. And believe me, there's only 2 or 3 blues tracks on it, because it's not just the blues I listen to. Okay?
Okay, thank you very much.